Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. My name is Elaina Ashton, and I am the co-founder of Education Empowers. And today we'll be going over some Spike Prime robot programming, specifically moving forward and turning. All right, so hello, everyone. Welcome to the exciting world of First LEGO League competition. We have some new and exciting developments in these past couple of years that includes a new robot type, which is called the Spike Prime robot, as well as a new coding language through the Spike Prime app. So through this PowerPoint and this presentation, you guys will have a good understanding of the Spike Prime robot and how to use it. So to begin, a little bit about the Spike Prime robot. So it has some advantages. It's a more compact design, sturdier wheels, more parts for connecting motors and sensors, which will be very helpful, better display technology, and easy scratch-like programming app interface. And for all the coaches asking, can the EV3 still be used? Yes, if you have the EV3 robot, it can be used still in the competition. As you can see here, here's a picture of the Spike Prime robot. Okay, so now when getting ready, you should check your materials. You should have the LEGO Spike Prime robot. You should also download the Spike Education app. To download the software, you can use the following link. Select your operating system and then download the software. It is compatible with Mac, Windows, iPad, Android, and Chromebooks, so it should be available to every operating system. Alrighty. Okay, so we are going to go into programming. So some programming 101 is that the Spike Prime app has many new features that are basically the same as the older EV3 programming languages. There's a lot of similarities, which we'll get into a bit of discussion. For example, blocks are separated by color and type. So for those who have seen the EV3 programming language or have used it, knows that a lot of the blocks are kind of separated into categories. It's the same here with the Spike Prime app. So as you can see that we have some motor blocks, we have some movement blocks, light, sound, events, control, and different color blocks are corresponding to the different color category. So as you can see here, the blocks are similarly the same color as whatever the main category is. So that will be useful just to kind of know which blocks are coming from where as well. Okay, so then also similar to the EV3 programming language, the blocks are put together kind of like Tetris. So they click into place together. As you can kind of see here with this small example, the blocks are kind of just a click and drag and placed to connect with the next block, which is a very easy system. Continuing on with some programming 101, you'll have similar concepts can be applied to your team from when you used EV3. A lot of the blocks are kind of the same, like similar in what they want to do. So the main thing is that we have when program starts, and then we also set movement motors to specific motors. So whatever is connected into your robot, this is what you'll put in here. We have some set movement speed blocks. We have our move forward blocks for run rotations. If anyone's used EV3 with us before, you should be familiar with kind of like the rotation aspect of it. And so we have very similar blocks, as you can see here. And also, I just wanted to mention that, you know, the A plus E might differ depending on how you set up your robots. So we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Okay, so now we are going to start with our first program, which is moving forward. So after you have downloaded the Spike Prime app, open up the app and select Spike Prime. And then to get started, click on the plus new project button, as well as naming the project moving forward. Okay, so as we said, just a summary of this, open up the Spike Prime app, click the plus new project, and then name the project moving forward. Just to make sure, you do click the word blocks for the new project. This will be what sets the project language to be block programming, which is what we used in the past as well. So moving forward, continued, the next step is to set movement to the motor. So first, we should have the when program starts block right here, which you can see right here. But then the next thing we're going to do is we need to make sure that we identify what our motor are connected to on the brick. So how we do this is we go to the movement category, which is all the pink blocks, and we choose set movement motors to, and then whatever ports your motors are connected to, you want to put them here. So in this example, we have C and D is what our motors are connected to. So we set the movement motors to C and D. To clarify, this is the motors that are connected to your wheels. So whatever the motors connected to your wheels are in the ports, that are the ports you're going to choose right here. Okay, so now once you have the set motor block, you should be able to just to click them into place with each other, and they should just automatically attach. Okay, so moving on. So after we have that block in the same pink category, you should see a move forward for 10 centimeters. So this block basically just has the robot moving forward for 10 centimeters. The next step, step 4, is to add the exit block. So what this block basically does is it just says after completing all these steps, we want to stop the program. We don't want to do anything else. So this is kind of like the end step. And you can find this in the orange section. So afterwards, we're going to connect with the robot, and then we're going to download and run it. And I will be showing all this in a little bit. So as you can see here, step 5 is to connect, to make sure that your brick is connected. You can connect using the USB cord for now. There is a Bluetooth capability on the robot, but for now, since we're just setting up and doing some basic programming, let's just connect the robot to the computer with the USB cord. And then we can click on download and then run. Okay, so now we are going to move on, and I'm going to show you guys how to actually code this. So what we just discussed, I will show. So when you open up the Spike education app, you should see that there's these two options. You're going to click on Spike Prime. Okay, so now you are on this home page is what this is. What we're going to do is right here with the plus button, you're going to click New Project. And it defaults to icon blocks, but what we want to do is we want to change it to word blocks, as well as put the project name moving forward. So after you put your new project name and you put the settings to word blocks, you're going to click Create. So this should be the coding interface that you should see. So this is what you should see when it comes to coding. So you can see that we're already given the default when program starts block. So what we're going to do is we are going to now start with the set motors to block. So this was the block I was talking about earlier, that basically what it does is your motors that are connected to your wheels, we are going to see what ports they're connected to, and we're going to put them here. So for my robot, my wheels are connected to ports C and D. So for me, I can just keep this default C plus D. If your motors are connected to different ports, you can change this to whichever ports they're connected to, or you could do a hardware swap, but we would recommend you probably do the software edit. So next, what we're going to do is we are going to do In the same movement category, the same pink blocks, there should be a move, and then you should see a forward arrow for 10 centimeters. We're going to click, hold, drag, and attach that here. So what this is basically saying right now, what we have is that when the program starts, we're going to set the movement motors, the motors connected to the wheels, to C plus D. Then we're going to take and move the robot 10 centimeters in the forward direction. If you ever wanted to like change whatever direction it is, you can just click on this forward arrow and you can see the directions, but that's for a future project. So what we're going to do is, now that we have all this, the last thing we have is we just want to end the program. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the control category. It should be the one underneath events. We're going to click and hold the stop all program, attach it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change from all to and exit this program. So once again, you click where all was and you just click and exit program. Great. So this is basically how you set up the programming blocks. So now what we can do is we can start trying to run it on the robot. Okay, so I disconnected my robot. So before you connect your robot, this is what you'll see. You'll see, if you look over here, you'll see that the brick has turned a little yellow on the screen and it says connect. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug in your robot using the USB cord. Here we go. And you should see that it is able to, it says hub was successfully connected. And it shows that over here that it recognizes the whatever ports are connected in, and that it has seen the hub. Okay, so now we are going to get into actually downloading the program and running it. Okay, so now what is the next step is we want to download the program onto the robot. So what we do is we click over here and we can see that there is download streaming. We're going to keep on download, and this little download arrow, you're going to click on it and it should start downloading. As you can see, the play button's loading onto the robot. Okay, so now our robot has the code downloaded onto it. So after we downloaded the code, what we're going to do is, if you want to play it through here, you can always click the play button right here, and you should see that the robot moves forward 10 centimeters. So just a quick note, if you ever want to set the speed to something else, you can always go to the pink section. There's a set motor speed to whatever percentage. It automatically defaults to 50%. We recommend 75%, but you can always test it out. Okay, so that is just if you want to ever change the speed of your robot. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to turn in place. So these are called point turns. So what this means is your robot is not driving forward and turning. What it is happening is that the robot is staying in the same place, and all it is doing, it is just turning either right, left, or whatever degree that you set it to. So that is what is the difference between a point turn and a curve turn, which we'll learn a little later. So we are going to learn how to code a point turn. So like we showed earlier, you're going to create a new project. You're going to label this turning in place, and you're going to make sure that you select word blocks. Next, what we're going to do is we should have the default when program starts block. What we're going to do is we have to also now set the movement motors to C plus D, or whichever configuration your motors are attached to. After this, we are going to add the move block. So the one that we used earlier with the move, and then it has the forward arrow for 10 centimeters. We're going to drag that and attach it here. Next thing we're going to do is, as shown here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this arrow and we're going to change it to where it looks like it's a little curved. Now, you can go either direction. For this one, we're going to be going to the right. So you click that arrow and you change it to the arrow pointing to the right. So obviously, if you change this, that means that your robot is going to be turning towards the right. So after this, what we're going to do is we're going to now just stop and exit the program. So this will tell the robot to stop all the devices and to exit the program. Okay. So I am now going to show you guys how to do this through the software. So now we are back at our home page. We're going to go to new project. So where it shows the plus, we are going to name this turning in place. And then we're going to choose word blocks. So as I said, this one comes with the default when program starts. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the movement section and we are going to select the set motors to C plus D. So for me, my motors are connected to ports C and D for my wheels. So I don't have to change this. Like I said earlier, if you do need to change it, you can always click here and change it to whatever ports that you had. But for me, it is C plus D. Okay, great. So now that I've set the movement motors to whatever ports I had, we are going to go to the movement section and click the move forward for 10 centimeters. This was the block that we used in the earlier program as well. Now what we're going to do is we don't want to move forward in this program. We want to just do a point turn to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the arrow. I'm going to click on it and it should show you 4 different options. I'm going to click the arrow that looks like it's pointing to the right. Basically what this is saying is it's telling the robot to turn to the right for 10 centimeters. So it's basically just turn to the right. Great, so now I have pretty much my code done. What I'm now gonna go is into the control section and I'm going to get my stop all block. So as mentioned earlier, I don't wanna stop all. What I wanna do is I wanna select all and choose and exit program. Like I said, this will just stop all the devices and just exit the program. Great, so now like I showed you guys earlier, I'm going to disconnect my robot really quickly. As you can see, if your robot is disconnected, you're going to see this, and it's going to ask you to connect. So what you're going to do is you're going to connect the USB to your robot. So I wanted to make a comment for those who have not set up their robot previously. If this is your first time setting up, what you're going to do is, let me disconnect my robot. You're going to click on connect. It's going to tell you to turn on the hub. Like I said, you can use Bluetooth, but we recommend you use the USB right now. And it's going to tell you to use the USB to connect to the hub. So I just connected my USB and I am connected to Bobby, which is our hub's name. So then I can click back to project. So that is for anyone who has not yet set up their hub to be connected to their computer. Great, so like I said, now what we can do is we can come over here. We can download our program. As you can see, the play button is loading, which means it is downloading onto my robot. And once I want it to start and run the program, I can just click this play button. Awesome. Awesome. So I hope you guys have tried the other 2 previous programs, the moving forward and the point turn. What we're going to do is we're going to discuss some other turns that you guys can use, and then I'm going to show you in the software how to use them. So in terms of other turns, there is other turns. So what we learned prior is that we learned how to do a point turn. But say you don't want to do a point turn and you want your robot to be moving forward while turning, we're going to learn how to do that. So the first step is to create a new program, which is what we've been doing with the previous programs. You're going to label this project as other turns. Once again, make sure that we are selecting word blocks. And what we're going to do is we have the default when program starts block. we're going to select the set movement motors to, and we're going to connect that to the when program starts block. This is just a block that you should always have connected to your when program starts. So just for any future programming that you do, it's always just a good habit just to have this block attached. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add the move block. So it's a different block than what we've been using. This one is the one right underneath the one we've been using in the previous programs. This one says move straight and then :0 for 10 centimeters. So this is a different block. Now what we're going to do is after we did that one, we are going to change, we're going to click where it says straight and then 0, and we're going to change that to whatever degree we want. So for us, we're going to do right 30. So this will make your robot turn towards the right. Low values are used for wider turns and high values are used for sharper turns. We're also going to change the distance to 30 centimeters. And then afterwards, we are going to add our exit block and our exit program block. Awesome. So I am now going to go to the software to show you guys how to do this. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go back to home. So like we said, we are going to create a new project. We are going to label this project other turns. And we are going to select word blocks. Awesome. So we have our when program starts block. So like I said, always just go to the movement section and click the set movement motors to C+D. So like I said in the other two previous programs, my robot is motors for the wheels are connected to C+D. If yours are not, I'd recommend you make a change. So after having that block, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the movement section, but we're not going to choose the block we've been using previously. We're going to be choosing this block. So in the slides that I showed you guys earlier, it was actually set to move straight 0 for 10 centimeters. This is the block that you should be looking for or something similar to this. So what this allows us to do is if we select straight, we can change the turn radius to whatever we want. So like we mentioned earlier, if we choose something of a lower value, we're going to have wider turns. If we choose something with a higher value, we're going to have sharper turns. So for this program, we're going to have it set to right 30. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change from 10 centimeters to 30 centimeters. So what this says is it says turn right for 30 centimeters. Okay, awesome. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go to the control section. We are going to get the stop all block. We're going to change all to end exit program. And then that is the end for this program. So like I mentioned earlier, connect your brick. We're going to go over here. We're going to click download. And as you can see, it is downloading the program onto my robot. Awesome. So once it's finished downloading the program, we can now click this play button and it will run the program. All right, everybody. So I hope that the last two programs were very helpful. We did learn two different types of turns. So we learned a point turn and a swing turn. So a point turn is the one that you see on the top right here that shows that it still stays where it is at, it just turns in a different direction. A swing turn is the last program that we just learned, and that is when it doesn't stay in the same spot. It does move forward, it just also turns while moving forward. So those were the two different types of turns that you guys just learned. All right, everybody, I hope that helped you. Thank you for watching this video, and please let us know if there's any other questions that you guys have about the programming that we just completed. All right, thank you guys.